Wow. Imaja and then that. Huh? And Katrina. Wow. You think it doesn't get much better than that, but wait just a few moments. Because we have somebody who is going to share with you her journey, her message. Deborah Woodward, I think I met about 9 years ago. I thought she had been in Unity for 50 years, since she was a child, because of the radiance, because of the energy that came from her. And she and I talked after a while with Barbara Hess about the idea of bringing her in to do yoga. And so she's been doing Saroba yoga for a number of years here since that time. And she has also integrated in it beautifully some of the unity message. And it's not changing the yoga, it's blending in the verbiage so that it seems like it's all one, and it is. And she does such a beautiful job of it. There have been a couple individuals who had challenges with meditation, and I'm sure none of you have, but a little bit of challenge, sitting there quietly, and they came to Deborah's workshop. And for the last 2 years, they are still meditating on a regular basis. So they have been blessed, and we have been blessed, many of us, through the work that she does. But I think what she will share with us this morning will bless you even more, because she truly is an inspiration, and she is the manifestation of God right here in front of you. So, my friend, Deborah, come on up here. I'd call you Sugar, but your husband's here. You're welcome. Thank you, honey.
It's an honor to be with you this morning. And where is Patty? My husband and I went to the University of Michigan, and so we have such fond memories there. You brought a flood of memories back this morning, so you are going to have a wonderful time. Yesterday, I finished teaching the latest Learn to Meditate series, and as I prepared my talks, it struck me that many of the Psalms and the scriptures and the ancient texts quoted in them have come true for me, have become the living word vibrating through my life and my being. I know that what I experienced in 2016 and what continues to unfold is a result of our years of meditating and praying together, dancing together, this beautiful stuff that we do every Sunday morning together. So what I'd like to share this morning is my story. It's our story, coming from the bedrock of our community of love and light. In the early summer of 2016, I had just returned from a week-long yoga workshop, and it was called The Peace. It was at the Swarupa Training Center in Pennsylvania, and it was called The Peace That Surpasses All Understanding. And from the poses and meditations that we did, I felt truly anchored and at peace. And then I came back home, and I received the phone call, the results of a biopsy, that told me I had a life-threatening illness. So, filled with peace, I didn't panic. And I took my time. I took several weeks to research and find the right doctor, and to research treatment. And I talked to Richard, and I talked to Vicki Rust, and I talked to Barb and Fred Hess, and I talked to Gino Brantley and Donna Pendarvis. And I was so deeply inspired by Robin Moore and Petra. And I savored the joy of being in Don and Joe's beautiful wedding. Nothing was going to stand in the way of that. And then I wondered, how am I going to do this? What's in front of me to do? And how am I going to square with this? Because the negativity that surrounds this disease and its treatment, it's daunting, right? We have so many, how long has it been? Centuries of negativity surrounding. And my son he came in and set me down and he told me plainly, he said, "Mom, this is going to suck for 6 months and then it's going to be over." And I thought, 6 months. I can do 6 months. But I was filled with resistance. And then 2 beloved friends, Melissa Fountain, who has taught workshops here, and Barb, reminded me that everything is divine. And the moment I saw this and accepted it, oh, everything changed. I was drenched in grace. I was immersed in an ocean of love, buoyed by the deepest love. And the sensation was that I was laughing and splashing and playing in this ocean of love. My sister-in-law sent me a 4-page email that had references to something that we had talked about when we were together at the beach that summer. What does it mean to be meek? And her email was about what does it mean to be meek and mighty. So this email said that being meek means to wait patiently along upon the Lord in situations over which we have no control, over situations in which we are vulnerable. And I knew that as I looked at the disease, as I looked at the valley, that I was being asked to walk one step at a time with the divine and see what happened. So there was the divine dancing before treatment began. 9 of my dearest friends, Denise, Dawn, Santa, Donna, Susan, came one afternoon to dance with me. And we raised the roof. We danced for hours. We danced to joy. We danced to life. We danced to divine beingness. And that set the tone for the next 5 months. And these friends championed me. They affirmed that I'd walk through this in ease and joy. Those were the words of Denise Dolan. And you know, there was a part of me that said, is that even possible? And yet I heard those words as truth. And halfway through treatment, we met again to dance and affirm complete love, complete health, wholeness, and freedom. And then I turned again, and there was the divine smiling. As my husband said, this is a speed bump, and we're going to look at it in the rearview mirror. And a doctor who heard that added, yes, and with some speed, you're going to get some airlift over that bump. And I said yes to that over and over again. And then my brother-in-law said, hey, instead of calling this chemotherapy, why don't you call it chemosabi? And so this enemy became my fierce friend. In quick succession over a couple of weeks, I saw 4 license plates that read, "Fear not, cure for you, logos, future." And I took pictures of each of those license plates. And then I turned, and there was divine presence standing beside me with my husband and my son and my daughter-in-law. They were with me at each treatment, which was wonderful because they were long treatments. And we colored in coloring books, and we played card games, and we joked with the nurses. One of the nurses even asked me advice that took us into yoga. And so I felt that I was so blessed to be able to, through this treatment session, talk to her about her daughter and what her daughter needed. So those months were a gauntlet, and at the same time, they were anchored in ease and joy at every turn. And the first treatment, except for the first treatment, which was rough, I experienced minimal side effects. I was so blessed in that. In each person, each of you who called, who texted, who visited, I heard the voice of the divine. It was clear, scintillating, that presence through each of you. And I learned what it means to give and receive. I thought I knew. I had become pretty good at giving, I thought, but I really didn't know what it meant to receive. Receiving is so grace-filled when we fully allow it. And here I was in a position in which all I could do was receive. So now I know that the act of giving, receiving, is the call and response of the divine. It is the joyful recognition of being at once the seer and the seen, non-different, non-separate, being one. And in this ocean of love, divine presence dissolved blockages, sweeping away years of tension that I had with my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, my brother-in-law. And we connected heart to heart in new beginnings. Mom is now 93, my mother-in-law, and she reminded me of the verse that she displays in her kitchen, which is, "This is the day that the Lord has made. Rejoice and be glad in it." And I started each day that way. And every day she sent witty, loving emails about how we were both carrying on with perseverance and patience. She with what she has been experiencing as limitations, what I was experiencing as my limitations. And she showed up every single day. And then divine presence dissolved more limitations with the help of a doctor who was providing complementary support, including nutrition and supplements. During treatment, I cleared out 11 old emotional patterns by the roots. And I thought I'd completed this work over the years, when this doctor guiding me was telling me that we were going to go back and revisit these, I went, oh boy, don't tell me we're going to go through all this again. But clearing things out by the roots is a little different than what I'd done before. And somebody was asking me during the break what that was, what that process was. And I realized that what was different about the process was that each time she took me through each of those patterns, and we finished it by moving through different stages, different levels of love. And then they were done. So, again, grace dissolved these blockages that I had, giving me even more freedom. And the divine took care of me in every way. Reverend Vicki sent the Unity Healing Prayer, which is a wonderful prayer. And it became a daily touchstone, beginning with this from Ephesians. Spirit is able to do immensely more than all I can imagine, according to its purpose at work within me. And Barb has set up a GoFundMe account, which I agreed to reluctantly at first. This is part of my learning to receive. And again, I was drenched in the love and support of so many of you. And I am so very grateful for it. Thank you. And I saw my husband as the divine, walking side by side with me, anticipating my needs before I was even aware of them. And he continually affirmed my recovery. I can't adequately describe his devotion and the shifts that have occurred between us and in all my relationships. The grace continues to flow unceasingly as I resumed teaching yoga classes and meditation with more light and joy and strength and trust My students tell me that classes are deeper, and my practices are deeper too. There's the wonderful passage in Corinthians that describes what happens when the divine is revealed in the holy instant. And you guys gave me 6 months of holy instants. Everything old has passed away. See, everything has become new. In Lessons in Truth, Emily Cady says, you will be conscious of a new and diviner life. You will become conscious of a new and diviner love for all people. And you will become conscious of a new and diviner power to accomplish. I am forever grateful for all that you and Unity and Swarupa Yoga have given me in this extraordinary journey together. Thank you.
Okay with you?
What's that?
I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Is that
Sounds good.
Thank
All
you. I was going to interview her after that, but I'm not going to. The power of that, I hope, touches each of your hearts and brings you joy and brings you hope. Several people have taught me that when you embrace that which you fear, the fear goes away and the love just rushes in. And that's what Deborah does. I highly recommend, and this is not an advertisement she asked me to say, but I recommend if you've not done the yoga with her, attend some of her classes, try it out. It's not just yoga that you're experiencing. It's not unity that you're experiencing. It really is the manifestation of God that flows through here that you will experience. And so aren't we really blessed to have this beautiful person as one of ours and teaching us and leading us and guiding us? Thank you, Deborah. I still remember when Deborah came to a 9 o'clock service and said that she was cancer-free. And what I really remember was Arthur, who had tears of joy coming down his eyes as she announced that, and her thanks for the prayers. So thank each of you. You participated with each person here who heals. You are the healing agent, and so I thank you for that. And now at this time, I would like for our two